I don't know if this would be of any interest to anyone, but I'm going to do it anyway because maybe there are people out there who don't know how to cut kydex. This is how I do it, and the lights are flickering. We got a bad storm coming, and we're probably going to lose electricity. So let me do this before the lights go off. Okay, this is a 2 by 1 foot rectangle, and all I do is measure in 12 inches. And I take a razor knife and I hold my line and I go down and I make a deep cut, as you can see right here. And then here's what you do when you got to commit. You got to pop this really fast, just like that. Okay, now I have 3 1 foot by 1 foot pieces and this here. And now I'm going to cut it into the sizes that I need for my 3-finger sheaths. Okay, let me show you what it looks like outside. This is early, it's like 10 in the morning. Stay there, Breezy, I'm not going anywhere. Look how dark it is. And windy. So, I'm going to lose power, I know it. Anytime the wind blows, we lose power. And right now, I've got these 3, Rob, Donald, and Patrick. I've got to clean them up and get the handles on, or epoxied. And I was going to have that done today, but if I lose lights, I don't have a generator down here. So what do you say? You want to go home till the storm passes? That way I can be up there and start the generator. And yeah, let's go home till the storm's over, because we're most likely going to lose power. Damn it. All right, there we go. I started it and the thing was sideways. Okay, so these are for my 3-finger knives. Here, I'll show you why. The 3-finger knives don't take much kydex. So what I do is heat them up, and then I lay one down, and then I lay another on top, and then I pull my press down on them. And, of course, this is after they've been heated up. And so the 3 by 4 is what works for those. And I find that if you're going to make something continuously, it's just easier to make up several than it is to stop and deviate from what you're doing and go make some kydex the right size. I don't get way ahead of myself, but I make enough where I don't have to be troubled by cutting this out when I'm ready to make a sheath. And so far, we haven't lost electricity. It flickered a little bit. Now here's what I recommend. A ruler with a cork back so it doesn't slip. And I just run my scribe down there to start a line, and then you got to be real careful with your razor knife because you could cut a thumb. So you follow the edge of that, give it 2 or 3 good hard strokes. Okay, and then there. Okay, so Anne wants black. Patrick wants black. Oh, I got a few on the other side behind me that want black. I'll get them started. This is the black cord. Got that in yesterday, so alrighty, let me go sand some knives. I showed how to cut kydex. I think I'm gonna just continue with how I shape my kydex sheaths. Now, I've put these in my tempering oven. Somebody a while back took issue with me calling it my tempering oven because it's a toaster oven. Well, I've never toasted in it, but all I've ever done is temper in it and heat kydex up. So now I'm calling it my kydex oven. And what I do is heat this kydex up to about 230 degrees. And I haven't figured a set time. What I do is open the door and feel how pliable it is. And I've kind of learned by feel when it's ready to be pressed into a form. And then I put it in my kydex press and I close it down over here and I clamp it down tight and it stays in there until the kydex cools. And then I take it out and I do the rest of this by hand. You see the little dots? There's 2 drill holes there and there's dot here, dot here, dot here. And these are all by hand, by eye. You know, I don't measure anything. I just know how far away from the edge of the blade I want to be, because you have to make allowances for the size of the grommet. So now what I do is I drill the 2 top holes, right? And I put my grommets in and hammer them. As a matter of fact, here's my grommet setter right here. And I put these 2 in and I set the grommets, and then this is hard to get open, so you got to get a screwdriver in here because the kydex, when it's hot, wants to stick together, but it'll pop apart. And then you pry it open just enough to get the knife out. And let me get these in and peened over, and I'll show you the next step, because there's been no tutorial on the internet that I could ever find for this specific type of knife and the way I make them, so why not? So I'm only going to do one at a time here. That way I don't mix the knives and the sheaths up, because all these are done by hand, and I'm sure there's micro differences in the blade just because these start with a pattern, but when you figure in all my hand sanding, I'm sure there's some differences between these. Even though they may look identical, they will be enough of a difference in the blades that they won't fit perfectly. So this is Anne's, and I'm gonna drill the other holes. Oh, and I pop this open. It's not hard, but you got to be careful that you don't scratch the knife. And what I do is I get a razor blade in there and I pop it open just enough to slip something else in there to pry, and then I kind of wiggle my way down to the end on both sides, and it pops the kydex away from each other. One more thing. You want to put the rivets in on the side that is going to be facing out, because occasionally the grommets, the rivets, they split, and you don't want that facing out, you want that facing in. And the last one, the one right here, this is the thing, this little notch here is the thing that actually holds the knife in. And this one, I don't hammer it down all the way. I leave myself a tiny bit of wiggle room, so if this isn't tight enough, I hit that grommet with another 2 raps with a hammer and the setter, and it tightens it up enough to where I'm comfortable. If you can hold it upside down and shake it and the knife doesn't come out, that's all you need. You don't want to make it too hard to come out, and you don't want to make it too easy to come out. So let me get these holes drilled, the grommet set, and then I'll show you where I cut these. I cut them all about the same. And so let me get the holes drilled and the rest of the grommets set. I don't know if I got all the grommets in, but I don't know if you can see this faint line I have penciled on there. And that's about where I want to cut it initially. And then by eye, I come around these grommets fairly close, but I leave enough so I can polish the edges, and polishing removes a little bit more of the edge, so I don't come too close on the bandsaw. So let me take the knife and this and go into the bandsaw. I don't know if that's recording or not. I'm just gonna assume it is. See if it'll fit, and see if I have to trim it. I don't trim it here. I trim it on my, yeah, that's too tight. So I got to go to the belt sander now and start fine-tuning this. And in the meantime, I sand this off a little bit and then I buff it. All right, this is perfect. All right, now we go into the buffing room and buff it, and there's no way to bring you in there without, there's so much vibration in there, the phone won't record. That buffer there is the one I use, and there we go. And now I have ordered, these are 1/4-inch grommets, and I've ordered 3/16. So I'll be able to make these a tiny bit smaller and still be able to get my paracord through the holes. So that's what is left here is the paracord and putting an edge on the blade, and this will be done. So I got one more to do. That will be ready here in just an hour. I'll be done with these two. This one and the other. That's Desert Ironwood, and I forget who it's going to. I got the name on the box. Anyway. Shall we? All right, there's number 2 on the left. Now I put some paracord in there, put the edges on, and they're done. And then I've got 3 more in here that I'm going to be shaping the handles on. And tomorrow I'm going to come out and make the kydex sheaths for them. So I think I can have all 5 of these knives in the boxes and addressed and ready to be shipped Monday morning. All right, we are in here putting some edges on. This is Patrick Z. That is Ann's. I don't have the edge on yet. I'll have that on here in just a little bit. But in the meantime, I got Rob's roughly sanded. I've got the, you know, the epoxy and the pins smoothed out. Rob's, Patrick L and Donald Duncan. Let me make sure I got that right. Donald Duncan is the dark wood, and Patrick L is the white oak, and Rob is the larger neck knife. I got to come up with a name for that instead of neck knife, because these are both neck knives. This is the 3-finger. And because I only had one neck knife, I called it neck knife. So, and I don't know. I'll think of something. But anyway, here we are. That's the white oak, the African ebony, and the desert ironwood for Rob. But that's all I'm going to do on those today. Tomorrow I'm going to shape the handles, make the sheaths, put the edges on. Today I'm putting the edges on these and giving them a final buff, and gonna go home and box them up. My wife had a bad night last night, and I'm gonna get a little bit of work done here and then go back home and spend the rest of the day sitting around watching TV with her. One last thing. Some of the video, today I put up a video of VR to Rob's Homemade Life concerning how to basically find time to watch the videos you want and save time by eliminating videos that don't actually bring anything into your life. Some of the videos I watch from some people, you don't need to actually watch them, you just need to listen to them. So I saved those videos for when I'm doing something like this that I need to keep my eyes glued to. And I put it on my Bluetooth stereo, and I can turn it way up and I can hear it over pretty much anything I do in here, except that machine. That is my loudest machine, but everything else I can hear it over. So I can just move about and do whatever I need. Oh, and the router, I can't hear it over the router, but the router is only, you know, I don't use it for more than 2 or 3 minutes, so. And this, you know, I just pause what I'm listening to if I'm gonna use this machine. But everything else in here I can use and hear over the stereo.